please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
So we're tracking for you this evening. You're watching CNBC TV18. I'm Arundhati Ramanan and this is Reporter's Diary. Straight to the top story of the day. After an aborted start in February, the e-way bill is finally here. Around 5.5 lakh e-way bills have been generated till 4 p.m. this evening. This includes over 2.5 lakh e-way bills generated on the 1st of April and around 2.9 lakh e-way bills generated today. From now on, transporters and businesses will need to generate an invoice for moving goods worth more than 50,000 rupees from one state to another. Intrastate e-way bills will start in a staggered fashion from April 15th. The rollout of the e-way bill comes at a time when GST mop-up is also witnessing an uptick. According to Revenue Secretary Hasmukh Adhya, the GST collection for February has now inched closer to the 90,000 crore rupee mark.
इस महीने मार्च में हमने जो इंटरिम फिगर दिया था आपको 86 या ऐसा कुछ था, अभी तक ऑलरेडी 89,264 हो गया है. सो वी आर क्लोज टू 90 नाउ एंड ऑफ मार्च, एंड दिस इज इन स्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट कि फेब्रुआरी वाज अ मंथ ऑफ 28 डेज. फिर भी मार्च का कलेक्शन इसलिए अच्छा है कि कंप्लायंस भी बड़ा है. कुछ हमारे स्टेट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के ऑफिसर्स लोगों को उनके पीछे भी पड़े हुए, और दूसरा कि मार्च में लोग अपना क्लियर करना चाहते हैं पुरानी लायबिलिटी भी. ई-वे बिल का अभी तक 2 दिन हो गया है. सिस्टम हैज़ बिन रोल्ड आउट. इट्स बिन वेरी सक्सेसफुल रोल आउट. सो फार देयर इज नो ग्लिच एट ऑल फाउंड, एंड सो आई मस्ट कॉम्प्लीमेंट आवर टीम ऑफ टेक्निकल ऑफिसर्स हु हैव, although they took 2 months to make it perfect, but now at least the e-way bill is on its way.
Today, till now, 2.89 lakhs. We took the figure at around 3 o'clock, right, 4 o'clock. 2.89 lakhs e-way bill have been generated. Now, our hourly rate when we checked up last time today, is somewhere around 60,000 e-way bills per hour. And which we expect now because now most of the e-way bills get prepared only in the early evening, so we expect that that this number will further go on.
In fact, our reporters have been on ground throughout the day reporting on how the traders are coping with this change. So let's go across to Jude from Chennai. Jude, tell us how the traders out there are adjusting to this.
If you're a transporter across the country, chances are you've had a busy couple of days, even as the e-way bill has rolled into effect from the 1st of April. In fact, I'm at the offices of truckg.com, which, remember, is not just a logistics player, but a truck aggregator and a startup at that. And for the last couple of days, these employees have been busy at work generating e-way bills. On an average, 80 to 90 e-way bills per day for a similar number of trips is exactly what this startup hopes to generate on every given day. And let's just give you a little bit of a rundown in terms of how it works. As you can see, there is a trip number, or an e-way bill number rather, that is entered, and once the number is entered, you see truck details can be entered on the e-way bill system. Once those details are entered, a copy of this goes straight to the trucker, and what you end up with is a printout pretty much along these lines, which pretty much is your e-way bill. Joining me now is Mrs. Zakir, who of course is the director of truckg.com. So I have to ask you, first questions first, do you foresee any changes to the business model of the business that you run post the e-way bill system? Is that a concern?
The post e-way bill system, the business model as it is not going to change per se, but the business will get more systematized and more organized players will come into the system.
All right. But also, given the fact that a transporter like you is getting involved in the business, is that necessarily a good thing, considering that this is, of course, a complex system on a very electronic level? And is that something that you're up for, doing this at a transporter level?
Correct. As a transporter, we always have a pain point in working with a system, doing a system-related activity, because transportation is not so much an educated line of business in today's condition. So what we were all contemplating an idea is that why the transporter has been put into a system of generating a e-way bill, because it is a business transaction between the supplier and the recipient of the goods. And when we cannot insure a goods which is in transit, why should the transporter should generate a e-way bill which is a taxable money for the supplier as well as the recipient? The transporter can be in turn only a modification of a e-way bill can be a transporter's responsibility rather than creation of a e-way bill. That is what I feel.
There is no glitches at least as far as the system is concerned. So the e-way bill, at least in Chennai, on the truck aggregator scene, looks all set to go full steam blazing. Back to you.
So that's all the action from the e-way bill front. But moving on to the big headline from the banking space, in a major relief for banks, the RBI has allowed banks to spread bond losses over the next 4 quarters or 1 year. Lata Venkatesh joins us now with more on the significance of this move. Lata, how will this decision help banks?
Well, bankers in the third quarter, the quarter that ended on December 31, suffered huge losses because of bond prices crashing, especially on the last day of the quarter, 29 December, because the day before the government had increased the borrowing program. And therefore, they had asked that they be allowed to provide for these losses over 3 or 4 quarters. RBI had actually lectured them severely against it and told them that they should have hedged their positions. Now, of course, there are a bit of losses even in the fourth quarter because bond prices have fallen a bit compared to, the prices at which banks must have bought those bonds. Now, RBI has relented and allowed them to provide for these losses over 4 quarters. But this comes with a catch, that whenever they make profits from the sale of investments, they have to take that and put it in an investment fluctuation reserve. And this reserve must keep growing until it reaches 2% of the amount of bonds that they have set aside for trading. That's in banking parlance, it's called HFT and AFS, held for trading and available for sale. 2% up to, till it reaches 2% of that, all those profits on sale of investments should be kept in that reserve. Now, this could mean that that is taken away from the profit till that reserve is created. So, some of those banks who in the past quarter, in the year that ended last week, have made profits on sale of investments, they may find that profit getting whittled down a bit. But the long and the short of it is, public sector banks which asked for this benefit are now going to be smiling because they will be able to provide for these losses over 4 quarters. To that extent, their losses will reduce. Not a great deal, because anyway on NPAs they're going to make a lot of losses. That losses will be trimmed a bit, but for the long run this is good because their investments in bond markets were fluctuating. And now that gets evened out. So, well, minor positive tomorrow, you will have to say. Because of this measure, banks will start, it will be hoped, will now be emboldened to buy bonds because they don't have to provide for losses immediately. And that will mean tomorrow you should expect a rally in the bond markets. That itself will be a very big positive. Rally in the bond markets, rally in PSU stocks looks like a given.
All right, so some relief coming in there for the banks. Thank you so much for taking us through those details, Lata. But on that note, it is time for us to take a short break. But coming up, ICICI Bank stock plunges in trade after the CBI initiates a preliminary inquiry into allegations of a nexus between ICICI Bank CEO Chanda Kochar's family and Videocon Group's Venugopal Dhoot. All those details on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Reporter's Diary. The ICICI Bank stock plunged in trade as the company battles allegations of a nexus between the CEO Chanda Kochar's family and Venugopal Dhoot of the Videocon Group. Now, in a letter written in 2016 to the Prime Minister's office, an investor called Arvind Gupta had alleged what he called illicit banking and commercial relationship between ICICI Bank CEO Chanda Kochar's family and Videocon Group's Venugopal Dhoot. Now, Gupta claims to be an investor in both ICICI and Videocon. He alleged a potential conflict of interest in ICICI Bank granting a 3,250 crore rupee loan to Videocon Group, which later became a non-performing asset. Now, in his letter, Gupta claimed that Chanda Kochar's husband had business dealings with Videocon Group's Venugopal Dhoot. The ICICI Bank board has thrown its weight behind Chanda Kochar. ICICI Bank's chairman M.K. Sharma has called the allegations malicious and unfounded. The CBI has launched a preliminary inquiry into the matter. Utkarsh Chaturvedi joins us with all the details. Utkarsh, where does this investigation stand as of now?
So there are 2 separate transactions. Now, one is the one which happened between ICICI Bank and Videocon, where ICICI Bank went ahead and granted a loan to Videocon. And on the other hand is a transaction in which Videocon invested in a company called NU Power, which is owned by Deepak Kochar, the husband of Chanda Kochar. Now, what CBI has at this point of time is the details of both these documents. When it comes to the ICICI Bank loan document, CBI has gone ahead and recorded statements of the people who were the nodal officers during the loan process. Also, what we pick up from our sources in CBI is that they have all the documents regarding the transaction which happened between Videocon and NU Power. Now, what we are picking up is that the CBI is really looking at the fact that whether there is any relation between both of these transactions. And what we're also picking up is that CBI is likely to ask Chanda Kochhar and Deepak Kochhar to join a probe. Remember that it is very important that the FIR has not been filed yet, so they cannot really summon anyone in this case. Also, when it comes to searches, seizures, as well as raids, they have to go ahead and file an FIR. So, what we are picking up is that CBI has gone ahead. They will look at the preliminary inquiry, and if they find something suspicious here, what they'll do is go ahead and file an FIR, and then is where they can really call for summons and go for searches and raids in this case.
All right, Utkarsh, thank you so much for taking us through those details, and we'll keep bringing you the updates as and when they happen. But shifting focus to fuel prices now, they are once again hovering around their record levels, with petrol prices hitting the highest level in 4 years at around 82 rupees per litre in Mumbai. In Kolkata, a litre of petrol is priced at 76.5 rupees. In Chennai, it's 76.6 rupees, and it's 73.8 rupees in Delhi. But also, let's take a quick look at diesel prices as well. Diesel prices are at an all-time high, touching 68.9 rupees per litre in Mumbai. The spike in fuel prices comes on the back of higher crude oil prices. Rates in India are also one of the highest in Asia, with different state governments levying varying rates of value-added tax on petroleum products. Responding to this surge in fuel prices, Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that the centre has done its part in easing the burden, and now it is time for states to reduce their VAT rates. He also urged the GST Council to bring petroleum products under the GST net.
Few months back, Government of India has reduced excise duty. In those days, we have expected similar cooperation from states regarding the broader policy framework. Again, I will appeal to the GST Council through a consensus. Finally, this product has to come into the GST framework.
I can't comment about the taxes and duties, but as far as the future prices are concerned, I can assure you that today the retail prices in India are absolutely aligned with the global prices. But these are worked out based on the last 15 days global prices, so that in case there are any spikes in a day or in 2 days in global market, it doesn't impact Indian market to the same extent. And if there are any changes happening in the positive side in the global market, the same will be passed on in the Indian market also.
Now, shifting focus to the insolvency corner, today was the last day to submit bids for debt-laden ESSAR steel, and we have a surprise entrant in the fray. JSW Group has joined hands with New Metal Consortium and have jointly put in a bid. For more details, let's go across to Ritu Singh, who has been tracking this story. Ritu, take it away.
Well, surprise not just on one front, but on two fronts. It's now a three-way race for ESSAR Steel as of the bids that have been placed in the second round under the insolvency proceedings. First, of course, New Metal has made a reappearance. This time, it is with JSW as an investor. Revant Roya, who was earlier the cause for ineligibility of New Metal in the first round, is not part of the consortium anymore. Instead, JSW will be part of an investor, making that a very strong contender for ESSAR Steel. The second one is ArcelorMittal. This time around, it has submitted its bid with Nippon Steel jointly to acquire ESSAR Steel. And the third one, and the new surprise entrant, is the Vedanta Group. Now, remember, Vedanta has already been declared the preferred bidder for Electrosteel Steels, and this is the second asset which is undergoing insolvency proceedings where Vedanta has placed its bet. Also, remember that in both of these cases, JSW lost out on both the Bhushan assets, and therefore this is the last bet that it's placing on the first list of NCLT accounts. All these three bids, however, cannot be opened until the 4th of April, which is when the next hearing in the NCLT case is on the eligibility of both New Metal and ArcelorMittal.
All right, Ritu, thank you so much for taking us through that. But Shireen Bhan is with us and has a guest with her. Shireen, over to you.
Well, thanks very much. In fact, Ritu, do hang in there. We've also got joining us now Vedanta Chairman Anil Agarwal. Mr. Agarwal, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV18. As we pointed out, sir, it's a surprise that you've decided to throw your hat in the race for ESSAR Steel. What made you change your mind?
No, there was no change of mind. As you know, that we had electro steel, and it has to be size matter. This is very important that once you are entering, and India has a great opportunity, growing market. Steel is going to be one of the highest demand in India. And if you see, we are hardly producing 60-70 million ton. I have a feel it will be needing almost 300 million ton of steel. And we have a tremendous opportunity in the iron ore sector also. So it was a great opportunity for me to look at our balance sheet was very strong, as you know. We carry about $8 billion in the balance sheet. We have a debt equity ratio of 1. So we find this opportunity is right. And I love India and the growing market, this opportunity, and we bid for it.
Okay. Mr. Agarwal, you've given us several reasons why you believe that your bid is going to be a strong one, the strength of your balance sheet as well as your debt equity ratio. But if I may ask you, sir, what gives you the confidence that you will in fact be able to outplay ArcelorMittal as well as New Metal, which now has a surprise partner in JSW?
No, I have done my best. If you look at the bank, bank has done a fantastic job in the whole thing. The greatest advantage will go to the bank, the way they have done the whole process. I think the way they have marketed this whole thing and the way they were getting the bid, I think it is a great surprise for the market. And the greatest advantage will be the
Are you surprised, sir, that JSW? Are you surprised that JSW has thrown their hat in the race?
No, this is the asset. JSW is fully eligible. ArcelorMittal is also fully eligible. We are already in India, and we have the electro steel. We run another steel plant in Goa for a 1 million ton. So we all are very, very eligible, and this was something which is very open, very transparent process, and we find this is the opportunity one should look at, and everybody looked at the opportunity and bid for it.
Can you share with us some details of the bid, sir? I mean, the bids haven't been opened just yet because of that NCLT order, but how aggressive have you been, Mr. Agarwal? How much appetite do you really have for ESSAR Steel?
We have done as much. We have done as much as possible. Because when we want something, we have to have it. That's the only attitude we have. And somebody else must be also very aggressive. And in this process, as I said, the bank will be the greatest advantages. And it's not right for me to share the detail of the bid and let it open, let it come into the transparent manner, but we have done our best to make sure that we make a good bid.
I understand and appreciate that. So my colleague Ritu Singh, who's also been tracking this story, has a quick question for you. Ritu, go ahead.
Sure.
Mr. Agarwal, Shireen asked you what made you change your mind. I also wanted to add in, the fact that you've been able to successfully be selected for electro steel, did that boost your confidence?
As you know, that we produce 60-70% aluminium of the country. We produce 60-70% copper of the country. We are the largest producer of oil in the country. In private sectors, we produce zinc. So we are in this metal business, and this is the opportunity we find that something which is available. ESSAR Steel is one of the finest plant. I can tell you that is the best located plant, and it has made by the Ruya brothers from the heart and soul. So I have this is a great opportunity. At the same time, it's very unfortunate that this thing has happened, that they have gone through this process. But I'm very pleased I have put in a bid, and I put a very lucrative bid. and whatever will come, it will come to the public domain as soon as the bids will open.
Mr. Agarwal, again, I go back to my question, and I appreciate the fact that you cannot share bid details with us, but you're up against ArcelorMittal, you're up against New Metal now, along with JSW. What do you believe gives you the edge and the advantage over these other two bidders, sir?
No, we are not against each other anywhere. No, this is enough water. India is a growing market, as I said. It's not even the tip of the iceberg of what's required in India in the steel sector. So there'll be enough opportunity will come. If I don't get it, somebody else get it. I will keep on looking at how do I expand. So this is something is not against or winning against each other. Something has come up. We looked at our balance sheet, and it will be adding a tremendous. As I can talk about myself, and I'm very pleased that my shareholder will be very pleased, because India, we need to have a forward integration. I'm one of the largest iron ore producer in the country. So I'll be able to add value to the iron ore. It is very unfortunate that the Goa mining will be shutting down. But India has a tremendous potential. And if I can add value and make more steel, also, as you know, that we produce gas in the Barmer and we bring it to the shore up to the Gujarat. And I can supply some of the gas which we'll work on, which is one of the very important raw material for the steel plant.
Right, sir.
So these are with the strategy if we get through this
SRC.
Yes.
Mr. Agarwal, what about the Orissa slurry pipeline? Now we understand that New Metal is trying to buy out that asset from Shrey Infra. It remains very crucial as an asset to run Essar Steel's plant. What will you do in case you're able to become the highest bidder in this case? Do you have some plan in mind in terms of whether you want to buy it out, or what could be the likely outcome?
See, this is one of the largest plants in India. These challenges will come. The company who, Mr. Kanuria, who own this, they're also very business-like. So everybody has to look at it as a business. And I've not gone in detail. I don't foresee any reason why people will not join us if something happened with us, and to make sure that they make a win-win position. Because this plant has to run and everybody has to come together, whether it's a port, whether it's a transmission line, whether it's a gas line, whether it's a slurry line or anything. We have to work together. But the fundamental is that it's something with the process which has been begun. The NCLT process, the bankruptcy law has been enforced. It has been working. Everybody is very conscious about the timing. And we are participating. We are participating with all the odds. And, and we are progressing. That's what matters. Sometimes it is a little slow, but it's a very good sign one way that the things are moving and running asset being sold and we run, and it will continue to grow.
Right. Mr. Agarwal, let me end then by asking you about Electrosteel Steel, sir, and whether, all the formalities are now in the process of completion, closure there.
Yeah, we got the letter of intent and we have submitted all our bank guarantees and everything. And whatever process is required, I'm sure the process will complete. And then I'm pretty sure things are moving in the right direction. And Electrosteel...
I'll end then by asking you, Mr. Agarwal.
Yeah, Electrosteel comes to my home state from Jharkhand, where I come from, Raghuvar Das. I have a great respect, the Chief Minister, who really want to take the state forward. And I'm looking forward to work that state, and if I can add value to create more jobs, more investment there, it will be my privilege, both at Essar Steel and the Electrosteel. And this is a great opportunity.
Let me end then by asking you, Mr. Agarwal,
Yeah, go ahead.
You said that this is a great opportunity and that Essar Steel is one of the finest steel plants that you've seen. What would it take now to restore this business to its true potentials? What is obviously you've got access during the due diligence stage to data, etc. What do you believe? How long will it take for you to be able to turn things around as and when the bids are announced, if at all, in your favor? Well, we seem to have lost that line there with Anil Agarwal, the chairman of Vedanta there, confirming that yes, they have thrown their hat into the ring for Essar Steel, saying that it is one of the finest steel plants that they've seen, and of course adding that not surprised that JSW has come in there with new metal, believes that the strength of their balance sheet as well as their debt equity position gives them a strong footing when it comes to their bid for Essar Steel. Of course, as Ritu's been pointing out, we will have to wait to see more on that front on account of the NCLT order. Well, Arundhati, for now, it's back to you.
Absolutely, Shireen. So that's the latest in the race for Essar Steel. Thank you so much for taking us through that. But with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Reporter's Diary. Many thanks for watching. But up next is our special show, GST Centimeter, where we take stock of the first day of the e-way bill rollout. Stay tuned for that. And many thanks for watching.